What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching a Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we talk about all things that matter to me in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 68, and we got a lot to talk about, as always, considering that there's been so many new developments. So we're just going to recap on a lot of those things that have taken place over the course of the week. So let's just start off at 20th Century Fox, and, well, it looks like we're going to be getting a familiar face in XMen Apocalypse because Bryan Singer, the director, has recently tweeted that Lucas Till, who played Havoc from X-Men First Class, will be returning in X-Men Apocalypse. He played Havoc, and I like this character. We got a little bit of his character, considering that they had to distribute the screen time quite evenly amongst the other characters. We got to see a little bit of him also in X-Men Days of Future Past, but it was for a very brief scene, but it was still cool to see him. So I'm glad to see that we're getting to see him again in X-Men Apocalypse. Hopefully we're going to see more of him. Hopefully it's not just a really quick scene like X-Men Days of Future Past, but he is returning, so that's great. Moving on, let's talk about Fantastic Four, and of course they released the new trailer, a full-length trailer for Fantastic Four, and what's great about it is it really establishes the tone of the film. It just feels very dark, which, you know, was quite noticeable in the teaser, but not only was it dark, but it felt epic. Okay, it had this very epic feel about it, kind of like a Dark Knight feel, but on a more grander scale. Because considering they're talking about interdimensional travel, which is pretty, you know, that's pretty exciting. Okay, but what I find most exciting about this new trailer is, of course, the reveal of the characters in much more clearer shots. We actually get to see all the characters in action, being able to do all their special abilities. For example, we get to see more of the Thing, like a full clear shot of the Thing, and he looks great. He looks fantastic, for lack of a better term. He actually looks exactly the way I would want him to look. So that's great. As for Invisible Woman, we didn't get to see a whole lot of her invisibility, just a little bit of it. They teased it. I mean, if she was invisible, then we wouldn't see it at all. But she also has another ability, which was showcased, and that was her ability to create force fields and also do the, you know, like, it's not really telekinesis, it's kind of like a force push thing, where when she can just blast out, like, force fields, okay? So that was really cool. We also got to see Human Torch morph into his, or rather, what do you call that guy? I mean, it's Human Torch, but I'm trying to remember his human name. Johnny Storm. Yes, Johnny Storm. We get to see Johnny Storm and, you know, do the flame on, and then it comes out really cool. It just happens really awesome. You see him doing flame blast. You see him flying around, and you also get to see a little bit of the chemistry going on between the characters, which is really neat. And finally, Mr. Fantastic. I only really saw one shot of him doing his fantastic moves, which is his elasticity ability, and I liked what I saw. It's in this screenshot right here, and it shows him really using it in a way other than, you know, just using it out of convenience, being able to grab stuff and all that stuff. You see him moving around with it, which actually is something we didn't get to see a whole lot of. A lot of the times where he used the elastic ability of being able to stretch himself was only like for when the action called for it. But now you see him moving around. You see him being able to, like, get to places easily, or I guess more quicker, more efficiently by using his ability. So that's very cool. And finally, we get the reveal of Doctor Doom, like a full face. All right, and they're going a different route. It looks like more makeup and less of the fact that it's just a shield, like a mask. So very cool trailer. This definitely looks promising, and I find that Josh Trank has the right idea to really give us something new in the reboot. All right, very cool. Moving on, the last thing I got to talk about with 20th Century Fox is, of course, the reveal of Deadpool. Okay, now you guys must be thinking, what am I talking about? The reveal of Deadpool? Well, the reveal of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I'm talking about Deadpool unmasked. Okay, when we see Deadpool in action, we see him in full uniform, mask, and everything, and we don't really know if that's Ryan Reynolds underneath that mask and costume. Well, I always knew it was Ryan Reynolds just because, you know, it would be silly. I mean, you know, at this day and age, you know, if Ryan Reynolds, you know, hyped up being Deadpool and he's not actually Deadpool behind a mask, that would just cheapen things out. But in this photo where he's been taken during action, it shows him with his mask off. He took off the mask, and that's really him. And I'm so happy about that. I mean, this just confirms that, you know, even though it's someone doing really, really amazing stunts and all that, that is not a stuntman. I mean, there are probably some scenes where it does involve a stuntman, but it's Ryan Reynolds doing most of his stunts and also being behind that mask. So very, very cool, okay? You know, actors doing, or rather the act of actors doing their own stunts is such a rare art these days. I think Tom Cruise is the one that really, really gets a lot of credit for it because he is just unstoppable. And it's great to see more and more actors really doing their own stunts, you know, to the best of their abilities, all right? And Ryan Reynolds is one of those. So I feel really, really great, or happy rather, to know that that's happening in Deadpool, all right? Moving on, let's talk about what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and let's first start off talking about Chris Hemsworth and the character of Thor. And what I find very interesting is, of course, contracts with actors contracts, okay, and how long they're going on for, because the number of pictures that they have in their contract dictates how many times we're going to see the character appear in future films, not just their solo films. And Chris Hemsworth recently revealed how many films that he has left, and I already know what that was, and that was 3, right? And that, but the main question is, which films will he be in? Okay, well, with the 3 films left that are in his contract, it has been revealed that it's going to be Thor Ragnarok, which is the 3rd installment of Thor, and also Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. So those are the films that he's going to appear in. I thought that Thor was, or rather Chris Hemsworth was only going to appear as Thor in one of those Avengers films, but apparently he is appearing in both. So who knows what's going to happen to the other characters? Are they going to be appearing in both? Or are they only going to be appearing in one of them? And what dictates the fact that they're going to appear in only one or the other? All right, that's very, very curious, but that's what's going on with Chris Hemsworth. Kevin Feige is, of course, doing the Marvel promo rounds, of course, for Age of Ultron, and he recently revealed that writer-director Adam McKay is in the running to direct any of the Phase 3 films. And the reason why he said that was because of his contribution to Ant-Man. Now, if you don't already know, Adam McKay, the writer and director of a lot of Will Ferrell movies, is someone who contributed in the writing, or rather is responsible for most of the writing in Ant-Man. Peyton Reed is directing. Of course, I'm disappointed about Edgar Wright leaving, but it looks like Adam McKay redid most of the script, and they really, really like that direction. And by they, I mean Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. So he's in the running to direct any of the Phase 3 films, and I can't seem to think what it would be. There's a lot of films out there, but none of them really have a director attached, except for, of course, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and also Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They already have directors, but the other ones don't. So which one do you think he's going to be directing? My money's going to be on Inhumans. I just think that that's the only suitable candidate for his vision, okay? Moving on, we have to talk about Infinity War. And apparently Infinity War is going to have more than just one villain, okay? Originally that one villain is, of course, Thanos. But Kevin Feige said that expect to see more villains. It is, after all, Infinity War. It's not a war when it's just, you know, a whole bunch of superheroes going after one supervillain. It's got to be armies going against each other. So he says to expect more super villains, or rather villains on the side of Thanos, or maybe not even on the side, on another team. I don't know, but it's going to be epic, all right? And finally, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we got to talk about Captain America Civil War. Now, you guys already know that the way I feel about Captain America Civil War is that it feels like Avengers 2.5. The reason why is because there's so many characters in that, you know, that are already cast in Civil War. All right, I mean, I'm gonna just name them off the top of my head. Okay, of course, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon, Black Widow, Iron Man, possible appearance from Spider-Man, Hawkeye, and you know, there's probably one more, and then there's another Avengers character that's going to be appearing. And you know what? I'm going to put the spoiler warning right here. Okay, the spoiler warning will end after 10 seconds, and that is Elizabeth Olsen coming back as Scarlet Witch. Okay, there you have it. I'm not going to even deliver any more like content, or rather any commentary about that. End spoiler warning. so that is who's coming back, or that is who's going to be in the cast. Okay, so that's it. I don't want to say any more about that. Other than that, now let's talk about Sony. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Sony and what does Sony have left in their I guess their interpretation of their own cinematic universe. Well, obviously all they have left is Spider-Man. I don't know what's going on with Sinister Six. Looks like it's not really happening anymore, as far as I know. Okay, but they decided to rework their plan, and it looks like they're still doing Spider-Man. They are still doing Spider-Man, but it won't be live action. It, as a matter of fact, is going to be animated. They recently announced at CinemaCon that they will be doing a animated Spider-Man feature, and it will be masterminded by Lego movie directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Now, by masterminded, does that mean directing? Apparently, it doesn't mean that they're going to be directing it, which is unfortunate because I find that they're really great storytellers. Instead, they will be writing and producing it, which is just as good. I think they're really, really great writers. They really have that comic timing. And, you know, there's a lot of comedy in Spider-Man. And I think that they really, really, you know, they really know how to entertain the audience. After all, they worked on the Jump Street films, of course, the Lego movie, the Lego movie, and now they're going into an animated Spider-Man feature. Okay, this is not something that's going direct to DVD or, you know, or Netflix. This is going to be on the big screen, which is going to confuse a lot of people because, like, does this tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe or what? Is this a new reboot? Yes, it is a reboot. It's not going to be Andrew Garfield's version. It's going to be something entirely different. But all I know is that they're on board and it will be released in theaters on July 20th in 2018. That's 3 years from now. Almost 3.5 years from now. Now, the last thing we got to talk about with Spider-Man is what's going to happen to the live-action Spider-Man. Who is going to be the new Spider-Man? Well, I got the candidates right here. As per The Wrap, which is a you know, it's like a entertainment website, or rather a news website. They have the candidates listed right here, and I'm going to list them for you. We have Nat Wolff, who was in The Fault in Our Stars. We also have Asa Butterfield, who was in Ender's Game. We have Tom Holland, who was in The Impossible. We also have Timothée Chalamet, who was in Interstellar. And we also have Liam James, who was in The Way, Way Back. Okay, there's a lot of hype surrounding the addition, or rather the casting of Nat Wolff. Okay, first of all, it's a recent film, and also I think a lot of praise comes to the fact that a lot of people enjoyed his performance in The Fault in Our Stars. I didn't watch any of Nat Wolff's performance, so I can't say. As for Asa Butterfield, you know what? I like Asa Butterfield. I also like Timothée Chalamet. He was in Interstellar. But the other ones I don't really know. But what's great about this list of candidates is that they're all teenagers. Okay, this is what Marvel wants. They don't want someone who's an adult who's playing a teenager. They want someone who's actually a teenager, which is great because he will have that authentic look. He will look like a teenager and he will look the part as Peter Parker as a high schooler. So, you know, that's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, an actual teenager working together with the Avengers, who are all full-grown, I mean, you know, mature adults, all right? This is going to be very interesting. There's going to be a little bit of a conflict here because, you know, we're talking about a kid, all right? But that is true Peter Parker. Anyways, why don't you guys let me know in the comments section below who you think should be Spider-Man, okay? And also, who do you think, or which movie do you think Adam McKay, or would you want Adam McKay to direct for Phase 3, okay? And what do you think of the Fantastic Four trailer? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. In this shot, very, very Watchmen-like. This got Zack Snyder's fingerprints all over it. Completely, 100%. I mean, after all, he is the director. But it's got this